Hello everybody, it's Kobe Pope, owner and creator of Wolf Self-Care Products. Happy Mag Facts Monday. This is pre-recorded because my Mondays, I gotta get my Mondays right. So I got stuff going on at work, whatever. Anyways, happy Mag Facts Monday. So today we're gonna talk about magnesium in the gut, magnesium and gut health. And first we're gonna get on the topic of magnesium and yeast overgrowth syndrome. So the consequence of too much sugar in the diet, whether it is sugar, fruit sugar, is yeast overgrowth. When yeast overgrows due to antibiotics, steroids, birth control pills, or a high-carb diet, these chemical products can be absorbed into the bloodstream and set up a never-ending inflammatory cascade. An example of how this yeast toxin drains magnesium. Acetaldehyde is one of the powerful toxic products of yeast. This enzyme breaks it down. An enzyme that breaks it down, acetaldehyde dehydrogenase, depends on magnesium for its function. When excess acetaldehyde overworks the dehydrogenase enzyme using up the stored magnesium, the enzyme can no longer metabolize acetaldehyde. A buildup of this chemical can cause many problems. Free acetaldehyde is toxic to the brain, liver, and kidneys and can cause depletion of B vitamins. It can also block hormone receptors for the thyroid, adrenals, and pituitary. Symptoms of thyroid imbalance are very common today, partly because thyroid hormones, which may appear normal in blood tests, cannot get inside the cells to do their work as a result of chronic acetaldehyde poisoning. The same happens with female hormones, especially estrogen. It's blocked from getting into the cells, even though blood estrogen levels may be normal. Apart from Candida albicans, exposure to acetaldehyde occurs due to alcohol consumption, inhaling exhaust from cars, trucks, cigarette smoke, and the use of high fructose corn syrup. Alright, so boom, now we're going on to stomach acid and magnesium absorption. It was believed that stomach acid was essential for magnesium absorption, and then it was later found out that magnesium can bypass low stomach acid for recovery. When you're under serious physical or emotional stress, your body may not produce sufficient stomach acid, which is required for digestion and for chemically changing minerals into an absorbable form. Minerals are usually bound to another substance to make a mineral complex. For example, magnesium bound to citric acid creates magnesium citrate, and bound to amino acid taurine and becomes magnesium taurate. When a magnesium complex hits the stomach, it needs an acidic environment to help it break down. So fast forward, when magnesium is deficient, gastric acid production is diminished, hindering magnesium absorption even more. The elderly, as well as people with arthritis, asthma, depression, diabetes, gallbladder disease, and osteoporosis or gum disease are often deficient in hydrochloric acid, which is stomach acid. All these conditions are associated with magnesium deficiency. Another disruption of digestion in America's addiction is antacids, the #1 over-the-counter drug. Heartburn and indigestion. The result of bad eating habits plague the nation, but the cure in this case is no better than the disease. The rolling and burning in this gut from sugary junk food and greasy fast food is being inappropriately blamed on too much stomach acid. In many cases, heartburn is due to sugar fermentation in the stomach and a backflow of pancreatic enzymes from the small intestine. By neutralizing normal stomach acids, antacids make it impossible for us to digest our food and absorb minerals properly. Our magnesium can be even further depleted when we use calcium carbonate antacids, because the calcium they contain cause more magnesium to be lost. It is also important to understand the grave effects of low stomach acid and low magnesium have on calcium absorption. We've already talked about calcium's inability to dissolve in water, making it entirely dependent on stomach acid to put it into solution. However, when calcium leaves the stomach's highly acidic environment, it enters the alkaline environment of the small intestine and precipitates out of the solution unless sufficient magnesium is present. Without magnesium to keep it in solution, calcium quickly deposits in soft tissues throughout the body, which causes calcification or hardening, which we see in a lot of elderly people over time, and they get real stiff. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the acid-alkaline balance, which I know is a big topic amongst people who have followed, you know, Dr. Sebi and all this, whatever. A common saying in natural medicine circles is that a healthy body is an alkaline body. Some people take this message too far and eat mostly alkaline foods, drink alkaline water, and even taking baking soda, which is alkaline. However, excessive alkalinity in the stomach first reduces stomach acidity and then causes a rebound reaction with the production of more gastric acid to maintain the proper acidic stomach pH. This increased stomach acid production requires more magnesium, which it pulls away from other functions. Stomach acidity is vital for proper protein digestion. It helps absorption of minerals from our blood and kills unwanted organisms, parasites, bacteria, yeast, fungi, viruses that find their way into our food and water. Concerns about the practice of using baking soda to manipulate internal pH. When you drink baking soda and water, you neutralize the stomach acids, much like an antacid. Incomplete digestion of food molecules turn into fodder for yeast and intestinal bacteria, leading to dysbiosis and leaky gut. Alright, we talked about in order to access the body's pH and number of turns, doing saliva and urine pH testing several times throughout the day. Okay, it talks about how pH of our blood is important, but the blood pH stays within a very tight range. You can't get a measurement without an arterial blood sample, which just isn't practical. So saliva and urine pH act more as an inaccurate proxies for the blood. I don't know, there's much more to this. Okay, instead of becoming obsessive about the pH testing and trying to manipulate your diet and supplements in a constant teeter-totter to achieve a certain pH, I tell people to eat lots of vegetables, make sure they take enough magnesium, which stockpiles our alkaline reserves, and helps maintain gastric acid. Magnesium acts as a buffer to the body, so the body can maintain an alkaline pH while performing metabolic chores that constantly shift the blood pH by small increments. When you are magnesium deficient, your body has a more difficult time achieving this goal. Absorption of magnesium. Okay. In regards to the absorption of magnesium or dietary magnesium, magnesium is ultimately absorbed in the bloodstream from the small intestine. However, start in the mouth. Okay. At the best of times, only a little of 1/3 of magnesium that is contained in food and water is absorbed. The rest is eliminated in stool and urine. Very little magnesium exists in the majority of farmland in the United States and the food supply. 80% of the U.S. population does not even obtain the meager RDA of magnesium, making magnesium deficiency systems epidemic. Okay, so now we're talking about intestinal mineral absorption. And they were talking about how they did a radioactive magnesium observing through the body, and then pretty much saying that there is no need to fear an overload of magnesium in the diet. Any excess will be excreted harmlessly, whereas deficiency can have serious consequences. Some researchers said that we don't absorb more magnesium because we evolved on a diet that was high in magnesium from sea vegetables and high magnesium foods such as okay. The last block mentioned in the following list about iron impeding magnesium absorption is now referenced with a study showing that this is true of magnesium oxide, true of magnesium oxide, but not of absorbable form. So magnesium oxide is trash. They try to supply that to veterans at the VA. Shout out my pops. Okay, so talking about blocks to magnesium absorption. Intestinal condition, diseased intestines absorb less magnesium. Availability of protein transport molecule for magnesium. Okay. Availability of parathyroid hormone. Poor hydration blocks magnesium absorption. Rate of water absorption, because magnesium is soluble in water. The amounts of calcium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, and lactose in the body, all of which can inhibit magnesium absorption. Supplemental iron, which can impede magnesium oxide absorption, and vice versa. If you take both, you should take them hours apart. Okay. Whether your intestines are healthy or diseased, it is said to be the most important factor in nutrient absorption. Okay, talking about a common cause of leaky gut is overgrowth of yeast, which normally lives mostly unnoticed in the large intestine. When it moves into the small intestine, however, it sends out a thread-like filament that can poke microscopic holes in the intestinal tissue. Yeast grows beyond its normal environment in a large intestine under the influence of antibiotics, cortisones, and other steroids, birth control pills, estrogen, stress, and a high sugar diet. It produces 178 different byproducts, most of which are toxins that can be absorbed through leaky gut. Okay, I mentioned before, magnesium oxide is only 4% of magnesium oxide is absorbed, and it has a strong laxative effect on most individuals, furthermore irritating a leaky gut. These toxins that require magnesium in order to... Low magnesium levels can compromise the cell membrane integrity by damaging the vital fatty layer of the cell membrane, which make it more susceptible to destruction and allow leakage through the membrane. Okay. Now we'll talk about magnesium blocked by certain foods. For example, there is much evidence that a high protein diet makes magnesium deficiency worse. If you are following a regimen, you should take at least 100 milligrams supplemental magnesium for that alone. With another potential source of problems in the tannin in tea, which bonds and removes portion of all minerals, including magnesium, from the body. If you suspect you are magnesium deficient, it's best to avoid both black tea and green tea, especially if they are strongly bitter. Less bitter teas do not contain high amounts of tannins, which may be less of a problem. Oxalic acid, which is found in spinach and chard, amongst other foods, can form insoluble compounds called oxalates, which is another reason why when I make my green smoothies and all that, I put magnesium in it, actually in abundance, to negate that negative effect. Okay. Anyways, compounds with magnesium and other minerals causing this mineral to be eliminated rather than absorbed. Okay, cooking vegetables removes most of the oxalic acid, so it's best to steam your spinach, chard, and other high oxalic acid vegetables instead of eating or juicing them raw. Okay, makes sense. Okay. Treatment of kidney stones in the textbook, the kidney and body fluids and health and disease. Some patients with intestinal hyperabsorption of oxalate and malabsorption also have magnesium deficiency. Replenishment of the body's magnesium stores increases urinary magnesium excretion, and magnesium oxalate is much more soluble than calcium oxalate. What I take with this? Okay, so magnesium can bind to oxalates and remove them from the body throughout the urine. Magnesium oxalate is much more soluble than calcium oxalate. You'll never find magnesium oxalate kidney stones. Calcium oxalate is responsible for 80% of human kidney stones and will form a crystal when calcium levels in the blood are higher than magnesium levels. Kidney stones, gout, rheumatoid arthritis, chronic vulvar pain can all be aggravated by oxalic acid. Instead of avoiding oxalates, which is also an often impossible task, I make sure people are saturated with magnesium. Another blocker is phytic acid, found in the whole of seeds and bran and grains, can form insoluble compounds called phytates with magnesium and other minerals, helping them to be eliminated rather than absorbed in the process. Though minerals are lost, preventing the binding action of phytic acid in grains and seeds is not so simple. Grains and seeds should be soaked for 8 to 12 hours to remove phytic acid, but few people make this effort. However, you can purchase sprouted sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds that are diet high in grain and non-sprouted seeds, while providing many valuable nutrients. Is another reason to take magnesium supplements to replace the portion lost of phytic acids. Soybeans too are full of phytic acid. as a cheap alternative to meat. Soy has it. It's bloated, lunch menus, fast food, whatever. This is unfortunate, as too much soy can cause mineral deficiencies in children who really need minerals to build strong bones and teeth, their structural body. Moreover, menopausal women may be overusing soy for natural phytonutrient effects and developing similar mineral deficiencies. While phytoestrogens in soy may be helpful to older women, they are another reason to avoid unfermented soy in diets of grown boys and girls. And lastly, we're going to talk about junk food. Even in a healthy diet with proper protein intake, studies show that an addition of little as 150 milligrams of elemental magnesium a day can make dramatic changes in health. Less than years at a good diet, you can magnesium deficiency. With a good diet, can leave you magnesium deficient. A poor diet can seriously undermine your health. We live in strange times where people avidly watch gourmet cooking shows while devouring junk food. And junk food provides 25% of most people's daily calories, and astounding 70% of our food dollars spent on processed foods. People who drink soda, soft drinks may be magnesium deficient because sugar uses up magnesium. Many carbonated beverages and processed foods contain phosphates, which binds magnesium to make magnesium phosphate, an insoluble substance that is not absorbed by the body. So that is all we got for the gut. And yeah, thanks for watching. You know where to shop for the best supplements, www.wolfselfcare.com. Thanks for watching. Happy Manifest Monday. Shop with me. Take care of you, man. Come on. Get well. Get right.